UAP are airborne objects that, when encountered, cannot be immediately identified. With regard to the importance of transparency, the Department is fully committed to the principle of openness and accountability to the American people.
We're going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Oh my gosh, dude.
U.S. Navy personnel recorded what appears to be triangles, some flashing. The video was taken through night vision goggles with a single lens reflex camera.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty high-profile incident. I don't claim to be an expert. You're the guys investigating it. I mean, who else is doing it?
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. This is UFO We Want to Know. Before I begin the show, as I always do, this is dedicated to those who have been ridiculed, made fun of, and dragged through the media for the last 76 plus years. For the first segment, I'm going to show 23 photos. I want to concentrate on a particular gentleman. So if we can go to that first photo. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dr. Roger Lear, and he was an American surgeon podiatrist. And the interesting thing about this gentleman is he was also a ufologist. Next photo. This particular doctor here was not afraid to come out and say what he thought. And in his thoughts, in some of his own writing, he claimed that there was implants in human beings that they couldn't, the people themselves couldn't figure out how these implants got inside of them. There was no entry marks whenever he would take these out surgically. Next photo. He actually displayed quite a few of them on television. He went through the talking circuits and did a lot of talking about this particular area of ufology, including X-rays. Next photo. Now, in talking about the X-rays, he suggested that these implants were strategically put in areas where the person wouldn't feel them particularly. But in some cases, the body would fight a foreign object, and that's how people realize they have these objects inside of them. Next photo. You can see there's clearly something in this person's hand. Next photo. And it's so interesting when people say, well, that could have been an injury that they just forgot, and it was left in the hand when maybe the wound was clean. But these people swear they don't know how it got in there. There's no entrance wound, and when the doctor went in there, they plainly looked for some type of entry wound, and they couldn't find one. That in itself is an enigma. Next photo. Take a look at these little pieces of metal. There are a lot of different metals in this one little implant here. I'll go through what they found in some of these metals, and I think you'll find these interesting. Next photo. You can see how large this particular one is. Next photo. And the interesting part about when they use these instruments to take them out, some of these objects would actually move away from the instruments trying to pull them out. That in itself is interesting too. If you think about it, it's almost as if it's conscious of what's happening. Next photo. And this is a very large photo of it through the microscope. Next photo. Take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that people have to realize. The other interesting thing about it is it has a tissue membrane around it, a thin layer of sheet of cells that covered the outside of the body was inside. So when they took this out, they found this inside the body with membranes, which are supposed to be on the outside. Next photo. Just trying to show you a comparison. Next photo. And as he went through his analysis on these particular little objects, he found things more and more interesting as he went along. Next photo. That's right. Nerve fibers. The nerve fibers, also called axon, is a long and slender projection of nerves and cells. And they carry electrical impulses in your body. How interesting is that? That these nerves, the nerve fibers, are surrounding these objects. Next photo. And what we're showing here is a meter that's trying to detect any kind of electrical pulses, and in some cases it did carry electrical pulses, and that's why they show the meter. And they isolated the object in the box, and then they put this meter to make sure there was nothing interfering with it, and they got a reading off it. That shows that it's transmitting something. Okay? Next photo. That's right. It could be anywhere from a radio wave, a simple radio wave, or it could have been radiation waves, just like they had in the Vicky Landrum and Betty Cash incident that happened back when. This was a very shocking and interesting development for 3 individuals that were in a car. And this was back in 1980 when they had the same readings as what they find in some of these particles that are in people. Some people say they could be in meteorites. Okay, well, wouldn't there be an entrance wound if it was? But they're not finding that. And that's the most incredible thing about this whole story here, is that they don't find an entrance wound in any of these implants. Now, the Vicky Landrum and Betty Cash story, they both passed away. There was a little boy involved. He's still alive today. And he doesn't really want to talk about it. I think it was a very upsetting thing for him as a little boy. I can't remember how old he was, but they tried to interview him. He is a grown man, of course, and I don't think he really wanted to cooperate. It was a very troubling time for him to witness the 2 elderly ladies, their hair falling out, their nails falling out. They're getting all these marks on their body. And on the next photo here, I want to show you some of the grid patterns that are found on a lot of these patients. Next photo. Next photo. And these are all different photos, ladies and gentlemen. I don't show the same one. And the next photo. On this one here, we're showing a triangular perforation, and this was not on the body before. I'm not exactly sure if Dr. Lear actually took these 3 little dots here off the patient or not. I was trying to find some more readings on it. I have another picture of it after this one, but let me show you this grid pattern here that was on this patient. Next photo. Take a look at that. That's a grid right there. That's a grid pattern for whatever it is. I don't want to call it a branding, but none the same. It's definitely not a birthmark. This was on an individual. Some of the information I was getting on those 3 modules, we can go to that one there next. It was interesting because when they take these out, they leave a scoop mark, and the scoop marks are not surgically done. That's just what they see in them. And on this one here, you can see there's a triangle. You can see a triangle there, but this was a scoop mark done. They found on many individuals that came in and said that they had missing time, or they think they were abducted, and they find these scoop marks. Now, if you ever check your own body out and you find scoop marks on your body, who knows what else there might be. But I'm not saying you were abducted. I'm just saying that this is what literally thousands and thousands of people claim. Dr. Lear, he examined literally thousands of people, and he did surgical work on many of them, not all, but many of them. He wasn't one to say, I'm going to start digging into people's bodies. He took it very seriously, and when he was on the talking circuit, he made that very clear, that you have to go through a certain amount of questionnaire before you're going to be taken into a surgical room and start having somebody cut you open. I know there are a lot of people out there that, believe it or not, like to be cut open. He was very honest about his answers. I saw many of his videos, and I was quite convinced that this particular doctor was telling the truth. Next photo. In the last of it, we've had actual alien implants. They have been found that they were 2,000 to 3,000 years old, and they were also elongated heads. I didn't get into much of this because when I was reading it, it was quite extensive, and I didn't want to push Dr. Lear's history out of the way. But this just goes to show you that there have been skulls that have been found that are thousands of years old, that the occupants at one time, they were surgically operated on, and it shows actual holes in their skulls, and they know they survived it because there was growth. The holes actually closed up. Who was doing these surgical operations thousands and thousands of years ago? We sure didn't do it in the 1800s, but they were doing it thousands of years ago. And that itself could be a whole new show that I can put together, because I've got a lot of literature on it, but a lot of people say, well, kind of stick to the present day. But I find all of them very fascinating. Let me know at UFO we want to know at gmail.com. Let me know what you think. We'll be back after this message.
Hi, I'm Joseph, the host and creator of UFO We Want to Know. Tune in every Saturday evening on KPVM Pahrump Channel 25.1 from 7 p.m. You'll see never-before-viewed videos and photos taken by myself, all over the world.
Thank you for watching. UFO We Want to Know, and remember, yes, they are out there.
Thank you for staying with us. On this segment, we have 2 videos and 11 photos to show you. I hope you enjoyed the first segment. I tried to put things together to keep your interest. So let's go on with the first video. And obviously we don't need an arrow for this one here. I took this video here in slow motion, but we had to slow it down 90% in order for you to get it. What you're seeing here, and we're going to loop this several times, is we're showing you a UFO transversing in our atmosphere, and what you're seeing is in the dark part is the actual spacecraft. You see how fast it was going before we slowed it down. What you're seeing, that the white flashes, that's the electromagnetic charge, anti-gravity. It could be the housing inside of it, the inertia combined with the electromagnetic field, is giving off this charge. And this is the one I was talking about a couple of videos back, when I said that some of the witnesses said that there was an electrical magnetic charge underneath the spacecraft. Some people say it's all around the spacecraft, but when it's starting to warm up or get ready to take off, it's on the bottom, and you can see an electrical charge. Where you're seeing this right now live, this is electrical charge around this spacecraft. And no, this is not a butterfly. So for all you skeptics, this is a UFO in our atmosphere giving off some type of electromagnetic charge. And it could be a pulsar charge. It could be a plasma charge. I don't know. I'm not aboard the ship. I have no idea. But I'm assuming what it is in my mind based on what the scientists today are saying. And I'm not just talking about NASA scientists, I'm talking about scientists all over the world. The French have a very good ufology group that looks into this, and I haven't seen them put up anything like this right here, but I would sure like for them to put their 2 cents in. But I'm going to keep saying that this is some kind of electromagnetic pulse charge. I'm going to keep saying that because I can't tell you exactly what it is. I can only give you my personal beliefs, and if it is wrong, please correct me out there, scientists. I have nothing to hide. After this, we'll go ahead and go to the first photo of it. But isn't that interesting that you can actually see electrical charge coming out of this craft? And it was traveling quite fast. When I first looked at the video, I couldn't really see this image. I had to take a double look, and then I put it on my magnifier and I played it over and over, and I caught it. It was going really, really fast. Now, this was not way up there by the sun. It was lower, and I would say that this was probably traveling pretty close to where our jet airliners are traveling. And that tells me that this is a threat to our national security. If not national security, how about the people flying in airplanes all across this great country of ours? Anyway, this is what it looked like in a stop motion. And you can see, let's go to the next photo first. And as you can see, it was traveling so fast. There was only one object, but this particular picture I wanted to show you is the leading one. You can see the pulse on the bottom. On the one behind it, the pulse is on the top. So this was going back and forth so fast that it looked like it was just a pulsing on both sides at the exact same time. But this goes to show you it was pulsating down, then up, down, up, and that's the way these craft operate. Next photo. This is a lighter view of it, where when I took the stop motion of it, of course it looked like it was all around the craft again. Now the dark inside of it, that's the actual craft. Okay, and you've seen these on probably 100 of my videos. You've seen this same shape. Next photo, close up of it, starting to get a clear understanding. But this is not a jet aircraft. I can guarantee you that, because if we have jet aircraft that are pulsating like this, we're going to have trouble inside the cockpit, won't we? Next photo and the last. And as you can see, I went to my computer animation type software, and didn't change, stayed the same. I just got a little bit more color to it. But again, what you're seeing around this craft is electromagnetic charge. And I think that is so interesting for people to be able to see. Since the government keeps saying that there's nothing to see, and we're gonna keep hearing that from them. But evidently they don't watch UFO We Want to Know at gmail.com. So that's their loss. Okay, let's go on to the next video. I wanted to show you what I get quite a bit, ladies and gentlemen. I get a lot of these. I believe this is a probe. And the reason I say it's a probe is this is actual video here you're seeing. This didn't move. So it's not a helicopter. What we're doing is we're showing you how far away it was, and then we zero in on it to show you what was up there. This object did not move. Now, at the end of the photo of this particular object here, you're going to see what I'm talking about. This is not an airplane, and it's certainly not a helicopter. But it didn't move. It stayed there for quite a while. And the reason why I know it stayed there for quite a while, I have another video coming up that shows another one just like this one, almost exactly like it, but the shape is different. And that's going to be interesting. That's in the next segment, but I wanted to show you this one because it's so interesting, the fact that I catch these probes around my area. Are they around my property? Who knows? Are they looking at me? Who knows? I'm just guessing. But what I am telling you is this, that when I am outside, I don't actually see a lot of these. But now, more and more, I'm starting to see these for myself. With my bad eyes, I can actually see them up in the air. At first, I wait to see if they're going to move off, if maybe they're faraway jet airliners. But they don't move, they stay there. And the way I do this is I look at the cloud above that particular object here. This would be the last loop. You see the cloud on top of the object? Well, I stare at that, and then I look at the object, and if it doesn't move to the right, going to the cloud to the right of it, then I know it's stationary. After this, we'll show the first photo. And we're pointing out, this is how far away it was, but even with my eyes, I caught this. And what you're seeing there on the bottom, that's my tree line on my property. As you can see, those are pine trees. So this didn't seem to be really high up there, but it was far away. Again, in our atmosphere. So if it wasn't in our atmosphere, those clouds are farther away than that object is. So obviously, it's in our atmosphere. And I point that out quite a bit. And the reason why I point that out quite a bit, because these scientists in Arrow and all the other ones that are involved in so-called looking for these UFOs, they keep sending out ridiculous statements. And next week, I'm going to be reading an awful lot of these statements that the Pentagon and Arrow and all these other organizations that are full of it are saying that there is nothing to see. There's a nothing burger involved here. I'm getting sick and tired of it. And I think taxpayers should be getting sick and tired of all of their rambling. They're using taxpayers' dollars to put these organizations together. The NASA scientists, they're all PhDs, all 19 of them, and they're paying them over $100,000 each to look into UFOs. Did they go to school to study UFOs? No, they didn't. They have their expertise, and I'm proud that they got their PhDs for their expertise, but they didn't go to school to learn about UFOs. Let's get that straight, NASA. You pick scientists that they get all googly when numbers pop up and they hit the numbers right on the dot. I know, I hung around with scientists for nearly 25 years. I know how they act. But this is serious work, and there has to be serious people looking at it. You don't need a PhD. You just need somebody who will look at the research, do the analysis, and come up with a honest, concentrated number. Okay, that these objects are here. There's approximately this how many, and how fast they're going, the maneuverability, and I'll show you that in an upcoming video on the next segment. What they can do, things that we can't do with our fighter jets, and I know that because I've seen a lot of these videos of fighter pilots who talk about the maneuverability of these objects, and they wish they could fly them. Next photo. There's the object, just sitting in the air. Next photo. A little closer up. Now this is what I was talking about, ladies and gentlemen. I've got 3 after this, but take a look at this. Does this look like an airplane? Does it have an airplane airfoil shape to it? Does it look like a helicopter to you? No. Now, and this one here, I can hear the helicopter pads about 1.5 miles from where I live. They have 3 helicopters that land there. I hear them all the time. And when I see them take off, I can see them go over the tree line from my property. This, ladies and gentlemen, is not a UFO. Excuse me, it's not a helicopter. It's not an airplane. It's a UFO. Is it a probe? Could be. Next photo. A little closer up of it. And next photo. Take a look at that. I've got one more photo to show you. It's an enlargement. Next photo. I want you to tell me, if you saw this outside your house, in the backyard, in my particular case, would you think this was odd? Now, with people with better eyesight, better camera equipment than I use, I'm sure they could have got a lot better shot than I got. I am using my 4 and 5K video cameras. I'm experimenting with them still. But ladies and gentlemen, these are objects that are in our atmosphere. You're seeing them for yourself. And I'm catching these every day. These were taken 3 days ago. 3 days ago. And yet Arrow and NASA and the Pentagon collectively can say that there's nothing there, when I just showed you UFOs in our atmosphere. What else can you call them? Now, I can keep talking till I'm blue in the face, but I can tell you this. If they're going to keep lying, I'm going to keep talking like this. And it's, their fault, because it's taxpayers' dollars that they're using for these ridiculous organizations they're putting together. We'll be back after this message. Please stay with us, okay?
Hi, I'm Joseph, the host and creator of UFO We Want to Know. Tune in every Saturday evening on KPVM Pahrump Channel 25.1 from 7 p.m. You'll see never-before-viewed videos and photos taken by myself, all over the world.
Thank you for watching. UFO, we want to know and remember, yes, they are out there.
Thank you for staying with us. The studio audience here gave me a real ripping here. They said that I get real excited about what I'm talking about, and sometimes they get nervous and I'm going to say something I shouldn't say, but I'm very passionate about the fact that taxpayers have a right to know what's in our skies, and the government has no right to withhold information that is pertinent for people to understand. When you're flying in a jet aircraft, you're going here or there, you're going to be safe. And I'm not talking about the mishaps of planes that don't have bolts in the door and this and that, recent developments of some of these airliners. If there are objects transversing in our skies, as far as what the government is saying, they have a fairly good handle on it. Baloney, they don't. They have no idea what they're talking about. I have, I'm going to show two videos. It's actually the same video, but I'm going to challenge you to look at, when we're going to show the video the first time, I'm going to challenge you on something. So let's go to the video here, and I'll talk it through. You see, that's my house right there. And take a look at that white object to the left of the peak of my house right there. It's in the center of the screen. That dot is what we're concentrating on. I want you to take a look as we're playing the video at regular speed. And I want you to see if you see anything. Take a look at that dot and see if you see anything, okay? It's real important for you to concentrate not at the dot exactly, but around it. See if you see anything. I'm going to show you just exactly how these craft are so incredible that you could be walking outside and they can be all around you at any given moment. So I'm giving you a chance to look at that white object. And yes, I believe this is a probe. Now, this is not the same object I showed you in the last segment. This is a separate object. The other one was over the tree line, remember? This one is over my house. But it's in the same general area of where I'm taking it. The previous one was facing north, and this one is facing north. Okay, so let's go to the first photo after this. That's what you were looking at here. I wanted to give you an idea how far away the picture was. I obviously knew it wasn't a cloud. Next photo. Close-up of it. The background is darkened a little bit so you can see the object. In some cases, when you darken the background too much, and a lot of people criticize other people for doing that because they say that, well, it distorts it. In the case of the UFOs, what it does, it gives them a better, it gives you a better idea of what the object looked like. I'm not trying to hide anything. Next photo. Close-up of it in comparison to the last photo, but take a look at that. That, ladies and gentlemen, is not an airplane, it's not a helicopter. Again, I can hear helicopters about a mile and a half away from where I live. I actually took a look at the data. It was actually a mile and a half from where I live. Next photo. Does that look like an airplane to you? Does that look like a helicopter to you? It's in our atmosphere. It's giving off some kind of a shield around it, isn't it? That could be a plasma shield. That's what I'm thinking. Electromagnetic field could be. Obviously, when they come through our atmosphere, they're using inertia because of the movements that these objects are making when you're looking at them through either video camera or stop motion. Next and last photo of this. Take a look at the surrounding part of it. You can see the inside, the lighter part. That is probably close enough to be the shape of the craft itself. It's almost iconic UFO, saucer shape. It just depends on the angle that it was in that I took this photo of, stop motion of. And then you have an outer ring, a darker ring there. That itself could be some kind of electromagnetic charge. And then you got the outer ring, which I think is the plasma charge. And I've had aerospace engineers tell me, yes, Joseph, that is plasma, is what you're looking at. So keep saying it. And I'm getting this from aerospace engineers. I'm not getting it from my mouth, just me saying it is. I listen to these people. They've been in the industry 30, 40 years. And they said that what you're saying is correct. So I had you watch this object here by itself, okay? But see if anybody caught it. So let's go back to a video, the same video, and what we did was we slowed this video down. And take a look. There's the white dot, but look what's flying over it. We're going to loop this quite a few times because you got to see what you missed. I don't know how many people are actually caught this in the very first video. This is the same video. I just slowed it down. Mikey, my director here, slowed it down 90% for me because this object, the darker one flying over the white one, it was going so fast that you couldn't see it. Okay, so you may ask the question, how did you catch it with your bad eyesight? Well, a lot of times whenever I'm taking a stop motion, I'll look at the stop motion picture through and through to see if there's anything in the background. And luckily, when I took a stop motion on this lighter object, the darker object was flying over, and I'll show you that when we stop playing the loop here, I'll show you the picture I took. But isn't that incredible that had I not been so diligent in looking at what I was looking at, I would have missed this UFO flying over the other UFO. And I call them UFOs, I can call them probes if I want, but they're UFOs because they're unidentified flying objects. The government can call them any other name they want. They use all kinds of acronyms. They're good for that. They love acronyms for whatever reason. I just call them UFOs, unidentified flying objects. We've been doing it for 76 years. I'm not going to change. I like the old and not in with the new. It's ridiculous for them to keep saying that. But take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This is what was flying over it. Did you catch it in the first one? So if you would like, with your own television, if you're copying this, you can go back to the very first video and you can actually see if you can catch it. Now, the dark object, you see the peak of my house? Okay, that dark object was actually over the peak of my house at 13 seconds when it first started playing. So that gives you an idea where you can catch it if you're gonna do that challenge. And after this loop, we'll go ahead and go to the first photo. There's the object, ladies and gentlemen. And there you can see the white dot. It's almost cut off here. Let's go to the next photo. Okay. And this is the actual photo that I was talking about. But you can see that object was flying right over the other object. Now, you could ask the question, do they communicate with each other? Do they know they're in proximity of each other? I don't know if the darker one was closer to me than the lighter one, or reverse. I believe the lighter one was closer to me than the darker one. Now the darker object started clearly on the other side of the frame, and it was I would have to guess it was probably maybe 10 miles away when it started. If we were to go back to the first photo, it's a long shot. That black object, or dark object I should say, it came from the other side away from my property. And when it was flying over my property, it zoomed off all the way to the left out of the view of the screen. So wherever it was going, it was traveling at this point from east to west. The light object, I never knew where it went. I didn't follow up on it. I actually saw that object when I was videotaping it, because what I do is I use the peak of my house as a focal point. And I know that I'm facing north, and I'm at about a 45-degree angle when I do this. Next photo. And that's a close-up of the darker object. Now, on this particular object, and I'm kind of ashamed to say it, I tried my best, but on this particular object, and maybe it was because of the speed that it was going, I had a hard time catching it and getting a very good view of it. As you'll see, the next photo. It's very, very blurry, but you did see it fly over. You did see it fly. So it's there. Now, on this particular photo, you can see there's a little dark, if you want to say chemtrail, entrail, whatever you want to call it. I call them entrails, but most people are noted for the chemtrails. It was traveling so fast the camera couldn't keep up with it. Just like the previous video where I showed the one that was sending up all the electromagnetic charge. The reason why there was 3 in there is it was traveling so fast, the camera couldn't keep up with it. It's just like when you see a propeller spinning, and when it's videotaping, the propeller may look like it's standing still. Same thing with helicopters. It's because they're spinning so fast that the camera can't keep up with the rotation of the blades. Well, there's no difference here. These craft are flying in such incredible speeds that you can't even get a good solid picture. Next photo. Close-up of it. And I got to tell you that I tried my best. Even with my software that I had on my computer, I really couldn't do too much. I believe this is the last photo. And yeah, I couldn't really do too much to it. That's about as best I could get without distorting it, and I didn't want to do that. Again, you saw it for yourself. This object was flying in our atmosphere. It flew right over the lighter object, and of course you saw my house. So this wasn't as if it was in outer space. This was fairly close. If I had to guess, these two objects, they were no more than maybe, I would say maybe 10 miles away from where I live. Is Pahrump a hotspot? Absolutely. We're in the Area 51 zone, as Death Valley is, and I can get to Death Valley in 20 minutes from my house. So wherever these objects are starting to, and where they end up going, I think they're just traversing our atmosphere, and they're going all over the place. But wherever I go in Pahrump, I catch these objects all the time. And I'm going to be experimenting in a couple of weeks, going other places than my house. I catch so many around my own property that I don't have to go anywhere, but I'm going to be trying a couple of things, and I'll bring that to you in later videos. We'll be back after this message. Please stay with us.
Hi, I'm Joseph, the host and creator of UFO We Want to Know. Tune in every Saturday evening on KPVM Pahrump Channel 25.1 from 7 p.m. You'll see never-before-viewed videos and photos taken by myself, all over the world.
Thank you for watching. UFO, we want to know and remember, yes, they are out there.
Thank you for staying with us for the last segment. I hope you enjoyed these commercial breaks, because of the fact that it gives me a chance to take a deep breath and get my composure back, because sometimes I know I'll go offline here, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give you as much information I can within the 1 hour period. On this segment, we got basically one video, and we got 20 photos to show you. Yeah. And so let's go on with the first video. So what are you seeing here? Well, you're actually seeing there's actually two UFOs in here. We're going to concentrate on the one that's looping, and that's on the bottom. And what we had to do for this, for you to see it, is we had to slow this video down 90%. 90%. And if I didn't do it, all you would see was a kind of like a flash, some kind of light on the bottom of the sun. So we slowed it down 90% for you to get an idea of what it's doing. This object is actually going up and over, and it just an incredible maneuverability of these craft. The second one was by the sun just to the right of it. It makes an appearance, a very, very fast appearance, and then it's gone. It only lasts maybe a second, if that. So I wanted to concentrate on the one on the bottom with the loop. And I thought that was so important for me to slow it down as much as we did. 90%, that's quite a bit from a slow motion videotape. But it gives you an idea of the maneuverability of these craft. Now, as I'm watching it on the screen myself, it's hard for me to see, but when we were first testing it, it was there. So I'm assuming that what you're seeing there is what I saw during the testing stage. But after this loop, let's go ahead and go on to the first photo. And what I did was I took a picture of the top of the, when it came out real bright, that's when I took the shot, stop motion. Next photo. Give you an idea of it. It seemed to be bright, but when you take a look at the background, even darken it, it seems to dim a little bit. When they flash, it is so quick that you think you're getting it at its peak, and sometimes it doesn't end that way. But in one shot, it seemed like it was. The second shot, it didn't seem like it was. Next photo. Darken the sky so you can get a better idea of it. And the next photo. Now, as I closed in on this object here, what I did was I tried to concentrate to see if I can get a shape out of it. Next photo. And this is what I got out of it. There was a center nucleus here, and it's shaped like a diamond. Now, is that the UFO itself, the center part, and is that the magnetic charge it's giving off? Look how big the magnetic charge is. It all depends on what's going on with the craft. Maybe it was getting ready to accelerate, and it gives off a much larger discharge. Could that be the reason why we're seeing what we're seeing here? And the last photo of this, I went back. The previous photo, it was darkened. I used the black and white on that, but I went back to the daylight, and it stayed the same. Just you couldn't see that much discharge as before, but take a look at the diamond shape inside of it. It stayed the same, didn't change, did it? Okay, let's go to the next video. And as you can see, we got UFOs just sitting up there. It went from the bottom to the top. And this is the UFO I was talking about that actually loops a lot. And this is the one I've been talking about where fighter pilots say, I would like to fly that. But if you look at this UFO, it seems to just stay there and then zoom back down. Now, we couldn't slow it down, zooming back down. We had to slow this down. This was in slow motion. And as it was going up, it just stayed there. And then it decided to take off in the opposite direction that it came. And I thought that was so interesting because the fact that I get UFOs that make these weird maneuvers, but we can't do this. If that was a jet aircraft going, say, Mach 1, Mach 2, and it was going up in the air and then it stalled, well, it would come out of the sky very, very slow, wouldn't it? It wouldn't take off like a rocket going down, or I should say going away, because I don't want you to think this went down towards the earth. It went away, but as it was traveling down, it was just moving at tremendous speed. But this object seemed to be heading east, and when it started to go the other way, it was going, I would say, southeast. And I might be wrong in those directions because I'm facing the sun. It's at a 90-degree angle. This was taken at 1:05 in the afternoon. And so I can't remember in what position I was in, but I'm assuming because the day that I was out there videotaping, this is the general direction I was facing. The sun is always facing towards my south. And so those are the logical directions that I'm giving you. After this loop here, we'll go ahead and start with the pictures. Give you an idea. That's what you were seeing. Now, what I did was I took 3 different stop motions, and the first ones you're going to see is when it was going up in the air. Next photo. That's the object. Next photo. That next photo. Getting a little bit bigger. I don't want to bore you with this. What it looks like the same, but it's not. And the next photo. Starting to get a shape, huh? There's that diamond shape, iconic UFO. And the next photo. So this particular UFO, is this the last one, Mikey? Next one? So this particular UFO is going up, is when I stopped it. So let's go to the next photo. And that's of the sun. This is when it stopped and it was in midair. I call it midair because that's the general way of looking at things. Yeah, this is when it stopped in the air before it turned and started to go back the other way. Next photo. There's the object. Looks similar to the other one until you actually see what it looks like on these photos. Next photo. It didn't look anything like the first one, did it? But it's the same UFO. All 20 of these photos are of the same exact UFO. It's just in different positions, different speeds. Next photo. Isn't that wild? But remember, this is stationary. Next photo. Didn't change. And the last photo. I wanted to show you as much as I could blow it out without distorting it. I wanted you to see what it looked like. It's kind of odd from a diamond shape into this, isn't it? And this photo here was taken when it was standing still. So you would think that it would be the reverse, where it was going up. This is what it looked like. It wasn't. It was. That's why ufology is so incredibly interesting for me. Let's go to the next photo. And this is when it starts to go down. And when it starts to go down, that gives you an idea that this UFO, for whatever reason, changed its, I guess it's where it was supposed to go. Who knows? We have a dot on the top there to show you there was another UFO, but I wanted to concentrate on the one on the left. And there was actually 3 UFOs in this video here, but I wanted to discount the other 2 because this one here was doing a maneuver here that I had to show you. Next photo. And this is what you saw up there. Again, this looks a lot like the other photos when I first start showing them real small. They all look the same, but as we get to the end, you'll see what I'm saying. Now remember, this is going away from me, and it looks like it was going from right to left, so you'll see the shape that it ends up in. The next photo. And the next photo. A little bit closer. You can start to see the shape of it. It's not exactly like the last set, but pretty close. Next photo. It's closer a bit as we get closer. The reason why I'm darkening the background is it's not giving off a glow because of that. What it's doing is I'm trying to show you the shape of the object itself. That's always important for me to show you a shape, because if scientists try to claim, well, it could be this or that, that could all be discounted because of the fact that this object was in the sky and it was moving. It wasn't stationary, it was moving. I just took stop motion pictures of it. Next photo. take a look at that. It seems to have a nucleus inside this one here near the bottom of it. Whether or not that is part of it, or maybe when I took the picture, maybe there was more density in this particular object. The last photo will show you that. And that's this one here. Take a look at the bottom of the craft there. You can see it has some anomaly within the spacecraft. And what makes that interesting is, could that be a something that's on the spacecraft that was maybe imprinted into the spacecraft where it came out in my software? Who knows? We don't know. But I think that was incredible when I took that, and I said, well, what could that be? Now I did zero in on my on this particular picture, but it started to get distorting, and I used the 40K lens on it, and it kind of looked like a little man up there dancing. Interesting. I didn't want to show that because I want to stay serious, but I thought that was interesting. I hope you enjoyed this show. I tried to put together videos and photos of things that I catch in the previous days of these videos, so you can see that I'm taking them every day. So when you hear the government come out with their well, we haven't found anything yet, we don't believe in our atmosphere, tell them to look at UFO we want to know at gmail.com and tell them to get back to you, will you? I also encourage you to talk to your government officials, write to them and let them know. I want to thank you, and I'll see you next week. Take care and have a good weekend.
Hi, I'm Joseph, the host and creator of UFO We Want to Know. Tune in every Saturday evening on KPVM Pahrump Channel 25.1 from 7 p.m. You'll see never-before-viewed videos and photos taken by myself, all over the world.
Thank you for watching. UFO, we want to know and remember, yes, they are out there.